Am I the asshole for refusing to change shirts to appease a bar's dress code? Last night, I, 26 male, was in line for a bar in my city. The line was pretty long and friends and I were standing out there for at least 10 minutes. My boyfriend, 27 male, was inside the bar already with his coworkers who I was supposed to meet that night. When I was almost to the bouncer checking IDs, another bouncer came to the line and informed me I wouldn't be able to get in because I was wearing a tank top. It's summer and very hot here, so it's typical attire for men. Several dudes behind me in line were also told the same. I said, "Really dude? Why?" and was told it was just the rule. My female friends in crop tops were apparently no issue. So we went across the street to a different bar, which was less crowded, cheaper drinks, and quieter music so we could actually have a conversation. I texted my boyfriend and told him we were at said bar because I wasn't let into the original one. He said, "I think I have a shirt in my car." I said sorry, but I don't want to give my money to the first bar if they don't like how I dress. He said his coworkers really want to meet me. I said okay, just come across the street, it's quieter here and we can actually talk. He refused, and instead he and his coworkers ended up going to a different bar where I also couldn't get in due to dress code. There are at least 10 bars within a 2-minute walk, so there were several other options including the one our friends were waiting at already. I refused to change shirts and ditch our friends who didn't want to go to the new bar, and they agreed that I wasn't being difficult to not want to change shirts. They are also my boyfriend's friends first and foremost, so they wouldn't have been expected to take my side. Long story short, my boyfriend and I argued and didn't spend the night together, and I didn't meet his coworkers. I was told I was being stubborn, I agree, but there are some things I stick to because of principles. Am I the asshole for not just changing? Edit because I think this is getting missed. About an hour later they left the first bar and went to another bar. Instead of coming across the street where I was waiting, they went to yet another bar with a dress code that was a few blocks away. There are some things I stick to because of principles. You stick to the strongly held principle that you need to be able to wear a tank top? Nah, but of all the people involved, you sound the most absurd. Not the asshole, I would be the same. Hit me with a dress code violation when you're letting a similarly clad someone of the opposite sex in? Nope. Wouldn't go back there either on principle. Not the asshole. Dress codes have their place, I guess, I'm not a fan. But you certainly have the right to not patronize that bar as a result. Your boyfriend and his coworkers made their choice. You couldn't have made a small effort in order to meet your BF's coworkers? Sometimes places have dress codes and no, you don't have to go there, but the fact that you wouldn't just put on a shirt for a special occasion says this isn't about the principle. This is about you being not willing to compromise for your partner and vice versa. Am I the asshole for mentioning my best friend's former crush on me in a speech at his wedding? Okay, I'm currently in a predicament. And frankly, I could really use some opinions. For backstory, I, F27, met one of my best friends, Christian, M26, back in 2010 during our freshman year of high school. We became friends and remained close over the years since, making a lot of great memories and sharing mutual close friends. From 2013 to 2016, Christian had pretty serious unrequited feelings for me. However, he eventually got over me, and I had never even let his feelings harm our friendship. If anything, our friendship honestly got closer after he got over me. In early 2018, Christian met Victoria, F29, at a bar, and they hit it off. They started dating after 2 weeks, got engaged in late 2021, and the wedding happened yesterday night. It was honestly a great time, as I watched with my parents and mutual friends as this kid I've known for 12 years was getting married to the love of his life. Plus, Victoria and I honestly had a pretty decent relationship, and according to Christian, she didn't really seem to care about his past feelings as time went on. Anyway, as the night kept going with a lot of music and dancing, I got up to eventually give a speech for Christian. I talked about how we first met, how much our lives changed since then, and just how great of a person Christian was. The attendees were clearly touched, and Christian and Victoria both looked happy. As I talked more about our history, I jokingly mentioned how Christian had the hots for me, but that didn't matter because he found his soulmate and that our friendship was stronger than some unrequited feelings. Most of the crowd laughed, and I could even see Christian smiling for a second before seeing Victoria's confused face. After the speech was over, I went over to the bar with a few friends. Christian came up and hugged me, thanking me for the speech. However, at our hotel, One of my other best friends, Devon, F27, told me she had heard gossip from the bridesmaids that Victoria was really upset with me for bringing up Christian's previous feelings for me at the wedding. Apparently, Victoria genuinely had no issue with Christian's feelings, but felt it was inappropriate to mention them at a wedding. I sincerely intended no harm with my actions. Maybe I didn't read the room? Everyone I've told is honestly split on whether I'm the bad guy or not, so it's definitely been polarizing. Christian hasn't mentioned any of this to me, and I'm not sure I should ask him. Am I the asshole? Edit. To those of you asking about whether the speech was planned or impromptu, I had asked Christian's parents beforehand if I could give a speech, and they were more than happy with it. People have to stop with the assumptions that this has anything to do with me having feelings though. Yeah. Saying that in my speech was probs an idiot move. But my sincere intention was to tell everyone about our 12 years of friendship and some of its history, and like I said, people were touched up until my fateful joke. "Oh, you pulled the 'he was into me first' card. He was in love with me but I turned him down and so now he's with you. Yeah, you are the asshole. How tasteless. You are the asshole, you don't bring that stuff up at a wedding joking or not." This speech was supposed to be about Christian and Victoria, not about Christian's past feelings for you. Imagine how uncomfortable you made Victoria feel. I also bet the crowd laughed out of more discomfort for the situation. You need to apologize to the bride and groom. I understand you didn't mean that comment maliciously at all, it was just wildly inappropriate considering time and place. Edit. Thanks for the award. Am I the asshole for kicking my family out of my wedding after they refused to be in the pictures? I recently got married to the love of my life. Wedding planning was nothing but hell between her overbearing mom, and my mom and sisters passive-aggressively disapproving. The biggest issue of contention was that my wife wanted our pictures to look nice, so she wanted the immediate family to follow a color scheme. Now I know opinions about that vary, but I think it is important to note my family is not hurting for money. They would be buying new clothes for the wedding anyway, and when my mom really dug her heels in, we offered to pay for her outfit. My family was extremely upset. They all refused to comply and said we were using them as dolls, ruining the wedding for them, and it was dehumanizing. I backed my wife and said if they didn't wear the color scheme they would be asked to leave, but again offered to pay for their clothes. They didn't take me up on my offer, and did show up appropriately dressed. I noticed they were all being cold though, no congratulations, no hugging, just cold and disinterested. When it was time to take pictures, my mom informed me that they were going to sit the pictures out. They felt they had been used as props, and were not okay with that being documented. I told her she was being ridiculous and did she really not want pictures from her son's wedding. My sister jumped in and told me they weren't treated like family, so on they didn't want pictures. Note these weren't even weird colors they would never wear. I was furious, and knew my wife was going to be so hurt. I told them if they didn't want to be in the pictures they could just get out. They seemed shocked but left. My youngest sister called me a brainwashed piece of shit, but my mom and older sister just got their stuff and wouldn't even look at me. My stepdad told me that my mom isn't going to admit it, but I hurt her feelings. None of them have reached out since the wedding. Not the asshole. I don't understand the YTA people at all on this one. You asked them to comply to a dress code at your wedding. Let me guess they don't feel hurt and left out if they don't get to go shirtless into the grocery store. So why is complying to a request from their son on his wedding day a big deal? Oh, and then refusing pictures on that day over clothes is icing on the cake. They are assholes, you are not. I hope you enjoy your marriage for a very long time with the person you chose and not the one you were born into. People overplay the shit out of that, but family thing and I hate it. Edit. JFC. I've never gotten this many upvotes before. Thanks guys. Am I the asshole for defending my dad and telling my wife that he didn't run our wedding pictures? Personally, I find this to be a really silly argument, but here we go. I got married recently, and for family pictures on my side we decided to do just my mom and dad. Divorced, as both of their new partners came into my life as an adult, and to be honest I can't stand either of them. My dad just assumed I wouldn't want his wife as she isn't really family to me, and my mom knows full well that I will never take pictures with her boyfriend after the things he has said about me. Neither said a word about this. We got the pictures back recently and my wife is furious because my dad had his hands on my mom's waist. I really don't see why that is a bad thing. My wife said it was creating a false narrative that they were together. People were going to think it was weird. and our future kids were going to assume they were married at the time. I said it could be much worse. My mom could have been one of those crazy Mills claiming to me. My dad could have had his typical grumpy face. I thought the pictures looked nice. My wife disagreed, but I thought we put it behind us. We had dinner recently with my dad and his wife, and my wife gave him his copy of the pictures. She pointed out his hands and asked him why he took it upon himself to stage the pictures, and why he thought that was an appropriate picture. He said it just seemed like the natural place to put his hands. He told her to calm down, which made things worse, and she began getting an attitude. I intervened and said that he did not ruin the pictures and to leave him alone. I said it was such a minor thing, and who really cares, but I did tell him to stop laughing as my wife being upset isn't funny. My wife feels I betrayed her and that I'm not even trying to see things from her point of view. Not the asshole. Your wife severely overestimates how interested your future kids are going to be in the wedding photos. Besides, what did she want instead? For them to be screaming at each other or looking like they wished the other person was on the other side of the world, so there'd be no question to any outside observer they weren't together? And what exactly does she want done about it now? If she doesn't drop it, let alone stop throwing around ridiculous overreactions like betrayal, seriously. Why do so many stories on this site involve people going there over the pettiest shit imaginable? I don't hold out much hope this marriage will last long enough for anyone to care about the photos. Not the asshole. Your wife sounds unhinged. The only people who should care are your parents' current partners. If she truly hates it, she can have his hand photoshopped off her waist.